to the track, the wall, makes the leap, and makes the catch! Amazing catch by Junior! He got it! A perfect game! 13 strikeouts! Line pitching out towards straightaway center field, drifting out toward right center, shot at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch! Mike Trout with another spectacular grab! There is out number 2. Bonds hit play high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 7:56. What a special moment for Barry Bonds. Swinging a long drive. Deep to right. Going. Goodbye. He has done it. He has changed the game of the night.
Hello and welcome to Champions Adjust podcast. Today is June 6th and this is episode
We went over
8.
this last week on episode 7. This is my part. This is my
season
part.
2?
This is my part.
Okay.
I'm the facilitator.
You're right.
You're the information guy.
Sure.
I'm the facilitator. You're the information guy.
How embarrassing for me.
Okay, you got to know our roles
Yeah, I'm
and
really
know how to
sorry.
play the game.
I do apologize.
Anyways, welcome to the Champions Adjust podcast. Welcome to the Champions Adjust podcast. This is season 2, episode number 8 of your most favorite baseball podcast ever, or hopefully it's becoming your most favorite baseball podcast ever. On this podcast, we cover everything from short hops to bat flips, but mostly our niche market is youth baseball. We coach youth baseball. We play youth baseball. We love youth baseball. It should be a fabric of American culture, and at least our culture, it is. And so thanks for being here for another episode of the Champions Adjust podcast. How was that? How'd I do?
I'm very upset with you right now.
Why?
You made me sad.
Oh, no, Coach.
It's good to see y'all though. This is great.
Coach Bodzin.
Happy Monday for us. Happy Thursday to you. I know when you listen to this is Thursday. We are filming on June 6th. Do you know what tomorrow is?
June 7th.
It's my birthday.
Let's go.
Hey.
Coach Bodzin birthday. So here's what we're doing for Coach Bodzin's birthday.
Let's go.
Here's what we're doing. We have merchandise available, including this nice hat on champsadjust.com, champsadjust.com. All of our merchandise is available there. And we have shorts that are going to be released soon. They're not on the website yet, but they've been designed. I have them. They're good. I've tested them out. Coach Bodzin will have them very soon. They should be delivered this week. But before they get put on the website, to make Coach Bodzin's birthday very special, here's what you need to do. Go to Twitter or go to Instagram. Follow us on either of those platforms. Send us a message saying you listened to Season 2, Episode 8, and you want to make Coach Bodzin very happy for his birthday.
Happy birthday.
By saying happy birthday. And I would like to pre-order some Champions Adjust shorts. You can get them in black, gray, navy, or red. Tell us your size, how many you want, and the color you want. And it's a happy birthday present to Bodzin. You get the shorts before anyone else, before they even get put on the website. And you'll be able to rock that gear all summer long in workouts, at the pool, hanging out with your friends, wherever, whenever you can sport Champions Adjust.
And guys, that is super important to me because the more merchandise y'all purchase, the more I can wear around the house and just piss off my wife. Because it's like literally all I'll wear, right? And I don't want to wear anything but Champions Adjust gear.
Yeah.
So the more you purchase, the more I can wear. And then Lulu is just like, hey, can you wear like a better shirt to dinner? No, I can't.
Yes.
I'm wearing this t-shirt to a nice steakhouse because Champions Adjust, and that's why.
Right, and the more t-shirts we sell and all that good stuff, we can upgrade our podcasting equipment to make the audio better. And so all that stuff is important in upgrading this podcast to make sure it's a great experience for everyone. Speaking about the brand Champions Adjust as a whole, as some of you may know who listen, right? Champions Adjust is a podcast. It's a clothing brand or a sports brand, a culture brand. And we have the Champions Adjust Mindset program that's run by me. And Coach Bodzin's learning all of this stuff now. He'll be able to facilitate some of those programs here soon as we're a combined unit here on Champions Adjust, trying to get into the fabric of sports, create mindset shifts. So if you're a team, an organization, a player, you want clinics, camps, all of that stuff. That's what the Champions Adjust Mindset program is all about. It's about enhancing the mental skills, the emotional agility, the mindset skills of athletes to increase your performance over time. So that's what we do here at Champions Adjust, and now we'll get into the kind of the meat and bones of the episode.
Fun fact, on what day was it? I believe Saturday. I did my first. I facilitated my first mental performance course for like 15 minutes with one of our players.
Yeah.
Where we did 15 minutes mental performance, so visualization.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went into pitching and then fielding.
Great.
And it was great. So I just wanted to share that with you. I don't think I had yet.
Champions Adjust, baby.
Champions Adjust, baby.
Yeah, visualization and mental imagery are one of the key aspects of enhancing your mental skills, right? If you can sit down and close your eyes and see yourself performing at your very best, and then reinforce that by saying, that's like me. Anytime you do something positive, that's like me, right? You hit a double in the gap, that's like me. Mm-hmm. You field a ground ball, that's like me. You're positively reinforcing yourself in the game, while outside of the game, at practice, at home, you've been rehearsing visually and imagining yourself playing at your best, and also imagining yourself overcoming adversity, which is huge, which is what we're going to talk about mostly today. That's the theme of this episode. Episode 8 is overcoming adversity, battling through challenges, and continuing to fight regardless of the situation. That's why the second pillar, which we'll get into in Champions Adjust Mindset program on another episode, is optimism. That's why I believe optimism is at the forefront of mental toughness, because if you can believe, even when things aren't going great, that they'll work out for the best through the proper effort, energy, and attention, then you can build a successful, meaningful, passionate life built on optimism and joy. And so, Coach Bodzin's got our newest addition to this podcast.
I do.
He's going to drop it right now, and it's going to be an exciting.
Do I want to drop it right now? As we're doing this early?
Should we wait?
Let's do it.
Okay,
let's do it. Okay. So, as you know that we actually,
I got really scared that I didn't press record. Okay, we're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay, good. Actually, before we do this, I wanted to get back into like the envision and success deal real quick. Okay. So, I worked with one of our players. So I'm not going to name his name because I don't want to make him uncomfortable if it's not something he wants to talk about. But we talked about envisioning success, and I started listening to some podcasts, and I think it was specifically Zach Sorensen. Mm-hmm. Who brought up a really interesting fact for anybody who's a youth athlete right now, or a parent, or whatever your role might be that has you listening to us today. Came up with a really cool statistics. So basically what was described in envisioning success is that the brain does not differentiate whether you're doing it or envisioning doing it, right? There's not a whole lot of differentiation there, right? So the example he gave, and I'm sure you've heard this before because he's a mentee of your mentor, Brian Kane. Mm-hmm. So I'm bringing his name up to you. Is that there was a basketball team, right? And you cut it into 3 groups. Mm-hmm. One group, go home, you're done with practice. Group 2, you are going to stay here until you shoot 25 consecutive, you drain 25 consecutive free throws. Mm-hmm. Group 3, you're going to sit on the bench, watch them shoot 25 free throws, and you're going to envision yourself making it. So one group did nothing. Another group actually practiced it, and the third group envisioned practicing it. Of course, group 1, 0% success rate. They didn't get any better or any worse. Group 2, the ones who did it, 24% increase in success. Mm-hmm. But group 3, who envisioned their success, 23% increase. Mm. 1% less than those doing it. Mm. And so what we talk about then is if you're struggling at the plate or you're struggling on the mound, or you're making errors, your reps aren't only coming on the field. Mm-hmm. They're coming on the bench, watching your friends and your teammates take their at-bats. All of a sudden, you go from getting 3 at-bats a game to 45 to 50 at-bats a game. Mm. You're envisioning your success. Hey, he hit a double. Okay, I just hit a double. Hey, he just took a ball inside. Okay, I just took a ball inside, right? Mm-hmm. You envision your success, and that allows you to grow on your confidence,
right?
Which I thought was a really cool tidbit of information, and I wanted to talk to you about that here because I know that you obviously know about this stuff and you talk about this stuff, and I'm starting to do so.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
I thought it would be beneficial to our listeners to
it's
for me
great.
to bring that up on this podcast.
It's an amazing tool for any aspect of your life. Right, you're about to take a big test.
Yep.
Okay, sit down, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, seeing yourself, understanding the information, reading the questions properly, knowing the answers to the question, and reinforcing it by saying that's like me.
Right.
But what's also very important, which I just touched on about mental imagery, is that it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time, right? A beautiful part of imagery or visualization is seeing yourself making an error and then seeing yourself overcome that error. Because now you know how it feels, like exactly how you said it, right? It's basically the same as actually doing it if you really feel and believe you're in the situation. So now you're at shortstop, you booted a ball. Okay, how do I overcome it? How do I reset? How do I flip the switch? Okay, now I have it ingrained in my body and in my mind, so when it happens in a real game, it's boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then we can come back and make the next play. So all of that stuff is super important. You're visualizing your success. You're picturing yourself playing your best baseball or best schoolwork or relationship or whatever it is. And then you're also seeing yourself overcome adversity, because life is full of adversity all the time, every day, and it never stops. And so if you get good at handling challenges and seeing them as a growth opportunity, then life gets a smidge easier.
Sure.
A smidge.
Which, in life, it's a good advantage to have.
Yes.
A smidge easier goes a long way. To the point of what our next segment was going to be, I think a better way of doing it, we probably should have talked about this before you hit record.
That's all right. We're flying by the seat of our pants.
We sure are. Or our Champions Adjust shorts.
Yeah.
The seat of our Champion Adjust shorts.
Which both of us are not wearing right now.
Because I don't have a pair yet, but you have.
I have a champion gear.
We're adjusting to it. Let's talk about the weekend, and then we can go into our segment. So our segment is going to be, and we're going to get into it. Something happened yesterday, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in a few minutes. But there is a player who plays for us who has gone through some tough times with injuries, and we're going to flash the text message on the screen for those of you who watch this. If we can. But he showed just the mentality that we look for, that we preach on this podcast. And I texted Aaron the screenshot. I was like, dude, this kid's ready to go. This is my Champions Adjust, player of the week. And that's not necessarily player of the week doesn't mean that you are the best player on the field.
Right.
But it means that you exude the mentality that we preach.
Right.
Constantly, right? Of a Champions Adjust mentality. And so we do have a player in mind. I actually have a list of 5 players who made my candidacy list, and we'll go through that list. But let's talk about the weekend first.
Yeah.
This weekend, I'm going to let you talk about Saturday first, because fun fact,
I want to bring up a point.
Yeah.
Because you just jogged a train of thought.
Sure, please.
When we started Wolfpack baseball, I think the kids and Coach Lovell didn't really understand what Champions Adjust was.
Correct.
And I don't think we fully understood what it was either, right? I knew that it was a cool name. I knew that I wanted to do a podcast, and I knew that I had merchandise.
Sure.
And I also know that I was running a mindset program, but it didn't have a name. There was nothing that I could sink my teeth into to market it, or to be like, this is what it really is.
Sure.
Like, if you don't get anything from what I talk about, but you decide that you want to adjust and pivot to the situation, then that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And as we started to train the boys and work with them constantly and do games and do practices and do Tuesday night mental sessions and workouts and all these things, they started listening to the podcast, but they kind of themselves took it upon themselves to kind of make it part of their team culture.
Yes.
And it's interesting when you work with kind of 13-year-old boys, is that when they start to kind of make fun of something in a way that's like a little bit sarcastic, but they kind of like it at the same time, you can kind of tell that they're getting through to you. I'm sure a lot of the parents have told you that, right? Yep. I'm sure that's kind of how the feel of that is. And so when they started asking for merchandise and wanting to wear wristbands and things like that, it was like, oh, so like Champions Adjust is actually what we want to be doing.
Right.
Like, it's now part of the culture of our Wolfpack program, and I think there's going to be some sort of something going on there. It's already part of what we do, and so it's like really cool to see something you have an idea of that's not really ingrained yet, and then have these like 13-year-old boys like do it for you, like make it important because they think it's important, and like they're just like being smarter than us on a consistent basis. And so kudos to all of the guys on our squad who've now made it part of their culture, who've now remind themselves all the time that champions do adjust. Sometimes, of course, sometimes they say it sarcastically, right, to get under our skin, but I do think that they mean it majority of the time because that's what they're doing. And there was no better example of that than this weekend with our team.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And in speaking of that merchandise that you had, on the thought process, you actually get that on the champsadjust.com.
Nice, boy.
Great, yeah, just all these shameless plugs. No, I agree. I think one of the coolest parts about coaching 13-year-olds, and I've talked to the kids before about this. I know you have too. I had a tough 7th grade year. Like I did not have a lot of friends. I got made fun of ruthlessly. I did not want to go to school. It was a tough time. 2001, 7th grade. It was tough. And so now, a few years later, being able to, and 20 years later, it's really cool to be a part of these kids' development because the 13-year-old in me sees that nobody's that confident, right? 13-year-olds just aren't that confident yet. Which is bullying, and that's how you get some of the things that I saw when I was 13.
Right.
But the flip side is that we can be a part of their development on the positive end of knowing, hey, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Lincoln Boyles real quick on our team.
There we go.
Who at one point yesterday said, hey, don't let one moment define your entire weekend. That is Champions Adjust mentality if I've ever heard it.
That's a beautiful statement from a 13-year-old kid.
Beautiful statement for a 13-year-old kid. I've known Lincoln since he was 11.
And immediately after the situation happened, he said it with no second thought. Like
he was just there.
Right there to hold his teammate up.
I've known that kid for 2.5 years now. 2.5 years. And just watching him grow and develop into a very kind and athletic young man who his thoughts are all well thought out, and he is just he's a good kid who gets behind this competitive mentality. Yeah, and that's one example of what we see every day from our kids. The 23 kids who play for us and the mentality they have garnered throughout the season.
Yeah,
and it's really cool.
Yeah, 7th grade was tough here for me too. It was actually my first year in Dallas. We just moved from California, and so it was it's hard. I mean, it's hard being that age. So it's like these kids that we have seem to handle it in such an exceptional way.
Yes.
It's quite
really
cool.
To watch.
So what else you got, Coach?
Yeah, so let's go. Fun fact: I had our first baby shower this past weekend.
Yeah. On Saturday.
So I was not at our games on Saturday. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you, and why don't you talk to us a little bit about how Saturday went?
Yeah, we played a 5-7 on Saturday.
Okay. This is, by the way, this is our gold team. This is our we have Navy and gold team, but we had gold all weekend.
Yeah, so we played in a 14 AAA tournament.
Yep.
And we spoke about this the last time on the podcast, that game where we played like an hour and 15 minutes, like 7 innings.
Baseball, yeah.
The first game was very similar, right? We won 2-1. CJ pitched 4 innings.
Oh, CJ was a dude this past weekend.
Who pitched the other 2?
Steven would have started game 2.
No, who pitched after CJ? Oh, Seth Timmons.
Seth pitched.
Seth Timmons pitched the 2, and we gave up no hits.
Sure.
Gave up no hits, gave up 1 run, scored 2 runs, had good approaches, quality at bats, just didn't push more than 2 across, didn't need to push more than 2 across because we had excellent pitching, incredible defense, and we played on a dirt field, which is actually quite unpredictable.
It's uncommon, too.
And we normally play on turf where the hops and the bounces are a little bit more predictable.
Candy hops.
And so we did a really good job there. I think it was just actually an excellent game.
Versus Kevin Minch.
Former Major League Baseball player.
Left fielder.
And he was, So that was a great game. Great start of the weekend.
Sure.
And then the second game, we played really well. Kind of up into the last inning where we had a few issues. So we were winning 6-2 going into the last inning.
Versus Drew Malden.
versus Drew Malden, which we played before. He's a great coach.
I want to bring him on this podcast at some point.
I think that would be cool. Yeah, he runs a good team. He's a good coach.
Good coach.
We enjoy playing against him. This is actually hilarious. This is actually hilarious. I haven't told you this.
Yeah.
So I get to the field about 4 for our 5 o'clock game, and Drew is coaching on the field already. He sees me, and he actually tells me that you're not going to be there today, and that he thought I was just coaching by myself, and he was like wishing me luck. And I was like, this is awesome. I was like, such a Bodzin movie, texted you and everything. I was like, no, we got our other coach coming.
He knows level very well.
Yeah, and so I was like, yeah, I appreciate it though. Yeah, he's having his baby shower, so it's 6. So that was actually hilarious. He's actually a sweet guy.
He came up to me yesterday, gave me a hug, and goes, "You just show up whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the deal here?" He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I talked to you about this yesterday. It's such a pleasure to coach against people who enjoy the game. I will get into like this. The other Oilers team that we played, and that coach was yelling at his players. And I talked to Drew about that, and he goes, "Yeah, I know that about him, and I don't like it."
Right.
And it's very contentious when you go up against a coach who does not treat their players or your players well. We talked about it last year. I was ready to throw hands at a guy who was yelling at one of our players. Like and earlier this season, I had the same mentality towards a different coach who was yelling at his players.
Yeah.
Just don't treat your 13, 14-year-olds in a way where it's going to ruin their love for the game.
Right.
Which is why we love Drew, because he's a very calm, cool, collected coach who understands that development is key.
And so that was a cool moment with Drew. And then we played him. In the second game, going into the last inning, up 6-2. We gave up 5, ended up losing 7-6
On a walk-off.
On a walk. It was just a tough inning, and it happens, right? I actually kind of love when those innings happen, and I know that we're going to play more baseball during the weekend to see how our kids respond.
Agreed.
And routinely, they respond in a manner that's excellent. Specifically, Lincoln, who had a tough inning on the mound, he responded the next day by continuing to show up as a leader. There was a few times during that inning where we could have closed the door, and we didn't, with some few miscues, a little bit of lack of focus here and there on getting to the ball or getting to the spot we needed to get. But those innings happen, and those innings are important for anyone who's playing or trying to do something great. You need to be kind of stepped on a little bit.
Right, agreed.
And that's important, because then we come back the next day on Sunday, and you would get after it.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit more about that game on Saturday. And I was watching from, Game Changer. I couldn't be there, but I was, accurately upsetting my wife, my pregnant wife, because she said, "Don't be on your phone." And I was like, "Well, I have to follow the games." And she said, "No, you don't."
She's right.
So every 5 minutes, I'm going to the bathroom. Just check the score real quick. And then she just gave up and let me watch the game. Thank you, Lulu. I love you. Sorry. But, watching that unfold, as a coach, you can always tell that the wheels are falling off, even if you're watching from Game Changer. It's just happening, and it happens. And it's not necessarily always a bad thing. Now, if it's the last inning of the season, that stings, and you don't want it to happen the last inning of the season. Right. But for the last inning of Saturday, when you have a guaranteed one game the next day to bounce back, it's a good time to happen. And then Lincoln had it doesn't pitch a lot.
No.
We haven't given him an opportunity to pitch a lot, and it's not because he's not a good pitcher, but it's because he's so good in the field.
Yeah, he plays every game.
Yeah, I don't think he's taken a pitch off in terms of. I don't think he's been on the bench for one pitch this season. He's always in the field, and he's always, middle infield, outfield.
Yeah,
always. So he asked me every so often, "Coach, am I going to pitch again?" Well, I would love to pitch you, but we kind of need you at shortstop or second base, man. You're kind of our defensive dude. So anyway, that's when it comes as a coach, the concept of, hey, do we really want to try to win this game, or do we want to see how this plays out, and do we want to, teach a lesson? Not teach a lesson, but a lesson will be learned.
I wanted to see how it played out because there was opportunities to win the game.
Sure.
And it just didn't happen.
And it wasn't, Tyrus's fault. And it wasn't Lincoln's fault. It wasn't anybody's fault. It's cumulative. Hey, this happened as a team. The wheels fall off. It's a 5-run inning. Happens to be the bottom half of the last inning. We lost the game. Okay, let's go to the next day.
Energy and focus are contagious, and they're a team thing.
Yeah.
And so you can pick people up, you can bounce them back, you can reset yourself, you can reset others. It's all part of the dynamic in the culture.
Yep.
And so sometimes it just, there are 13, so sometimes it just falls off.
Yes.
And they're just like tired, or they're distracted, or they're thinking about something else, or something happened, or, whatever it is. It's like super normal. And we're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not happening on a repeated basis. We're not okay with that, right? We're not these like laissez-faire coaches who are like, yeah, do whatever the fuck you want. No, we're intense, but how I think about it is like, there's two branches. There's like, we hold really high standards for our kids. And so during the game, we let them play.
Yes.
We do some coaching, right? When things are obvious and need some touch-ups. But we let them play. While holding them to super high standards, we have a lot of warmth.
Yes.
And that's how I try to present myself with it. Like, I expect you to be the best baseball player you can be, and try to be that every time you step on the field. But if you aren't that, some days I love you regardless. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter.
Just give me effort. I don't care if you commit 8 errors. I get it. It sucks people have those days. But give me your effort. If you make an error because of lack of effort, now I'm pissed. You are better than that.
Right.
But if you made an error and you gave me everything you had, and errors do happen, you're okay. It's
right.
part of the game. I know you're beating yourself up over it. We're okay.
And then when the game is over, we still value and love the kids regardless.
Oh, yes.
Like, the game is over now. Baseball is over. Like, what are you going to do? You want to play MLB The Show? Like, what's your hobby? CJ, you want to talk about cars?
Yeah.
Like, what's good, bro?
Do it.
Like, baseball's over. That's not the only thing that I care about you. I care way more.
It's saying that baseball is not life or death. It is more important than that. When you are between those lines, nothing else matters.
Sure.
You are on the field, nothing else matters. But as soon as you step off the field, give baseball a break. Go talk about cars. Go play the show. Go hang out with your parents. Go hang out with your friends. Don't think about baseball anymore. You gave all your respect and energy to this game for the last 2, 4, 6, 8 hours of your day.
Depending on you.
Go enjoy life, and that's not baseball. Like, I've seen Division I coaches force their team to practice after games before, and I don't like that, because hey, you made errors. We're practicing full practice after this game. Division I.
Yeah.
What does that do for the love of the game? Hey, you're compounding now.
Right.
The frustration and the stress versus the hey, take a break. And let's get back after tomorrow.
Right.
We know you can do it. I know you hate yourself right now for making that error. Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Probably have to study too. Probably have a fucking test Monday morning.
Exactly. Go study for your finals. Sure, we won that championship 2 weeks ago, and we couldn't really celebrate it because everybody's got to go take finals, study. Man. Like, hey, it's finals week. Go. Grades are way more important than baseball. When you're on the field, nothing is more important. Mm-hmm. But when you're off the field, everything is more important.
Right.
It just is.
It's a simple acronym of WIN. What's important now? What's important now? Win. If you think about that on a consistent basis and everything that you're doing, say you're having a conversation with your mom. It's the beginning of the day. You kind of woke up grumpy, but your mom is telling you what you need to do and how you need to do it for the day. What's important now? The words that are coming out of her mouth.
Yes.
Same with when you're in class. Same with when your coach is talking to you. Same with when your grandma calls you on the phone. Same with when you're on the baseball field. What's important now?
Yes.
If you can understand that, then you can have present-minded focus, and then you can continue to do that. But anyways.
Sunday,
we moved to Sunday.
Tough loss. Saturday.
Yeah, tough, but important.
We go up against a team on Sunday. Fun fact about this, we got a couple guys, Caden Job and Finn Cove, who played for this coach for the Canes.
Yeah, we played them a couple
times, and they left him because of the way he treats his players. As a coach, I'm aware of this. I make my own judgments. I personally don't like coaching against him. Mm. I don't like how he talks to his players during games. I hear him. For some reason, whenever we play this team, they're in the third base side. Mm. Every single time.
Yeah, I've never been close to him.
Always next to him when his guys are on the field. And all I hear is just grumblings and mother Fs and just, hey, you stupid son of a something, be better. And I don't like it. And he also refuses to shake hands after games. He's putting his stuff away. I'm not going to shake hands. We're fine. Could do without him. His kids seem awesome. I really enjoy.
I love playing
the
against
team.
Yeah.
Because the kids are awesome.
They got good kids.
That coach, I don't like coaching against that coach.
We haven't yet to beat them.
Yeah, we were 0-2 going into this game, and both times we played them was in bracket play, and both times we played them we had a lead and we gave it up. Coming off a tough loss, we come in, we throw Griffin Savello, who's just an absolute strike thrower on the bump, and we run roll him 12-2. Yeah, it was cool because we're up I think 4-0 after 2 innings. And we're having trouble getting the bat on the ball. It's really having a lot of trouble. We bring them all together and say, hey, make the adjustment. Like, hey, always seems to be an issue first game Sunday, making the adjustment at the plate. Hey, this guy's not throwing as hard as we're used to. We have to make the adjustment. And then we tag him for 8 runs across 2 innings, and we run roll. So fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to give my again, I have a list of 5 nominees for the Champions Adjust.
We talked about Link.
And then Lincoln is my number 5.
Yeah.
Just Lincoln Boyles is my number 5 nominee. Champs Adjust. Just absolute leadership. He turned the page really well and got after it. So congrats, Link, on being number 5. Thanks for being a leader this season. You're awesome. It's been an absolute pleasure, getting to know you across the last couple of years and seeing the leader you've turned into. So that's awesome. Do you want to give a honorary mention to our boy JP Malone? JP Malone pulled a muscle in his leg
as he was swinging and then started running down first base.
No, and as he was turning first, it really started to bother him. So we had to take him out of the game, and go figure. With the winning run, we're up 10-2, and the winning run's on second. JP comes to the plate, and he's wobbling, and he can barely put pressure on his leg. He still ropes one to the shortstop, who had to make a tough play, made a tough throw to first. The throw was dropped. And as all that's happening, because JP hurt, wobbled all the way down first base, and was safe, I had speedster Jason Medrano running home to score the winning run. Honorary mention, just being, tough as nails and gamer for JP Malone. Awesome stuff. So those are my two Champs Adjust shout outs for that game. And then we go to the semifinals. And, I texted, Drew, hey, what do you got about this team? And he's like, all right, well, they're a team that puts a lot of pressure on themselves. So, play error free and you'll beat them. Okay, cool. So we commit 7 errors in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, it was a tough start.
One of those days, you got a boy Finco on the mound, strike throwing. But the interesting thing about our boy Finn pitching is he's going to pound the zone, but he doesn't throw hard. So the ball comes off the bat differently when he's on the mound more than anybody else. Mm-hmm. We took him to Houston, and it was the same kind of thing. So a lot of errors tend to occur. And it's just tough. And who's number 4 on my list? So we'll go through it, but basically we're down 9-0 going into the bottom of the third. We're the home team, and we're down 9-0 going to the bottom of the third. And I pull Finn. I put in Steven Medrano in there saying, hey, get your work in. We'll see what happens. So it's tough as a 13-year-old to be down 9-0 in 7 errors and say, hey, we're still going to play some baseball, right? Mm-hmm. I even pulled Finn out of the game saying, hey, you have more pitches in your pitch count. It's not fair to you anymore. Like, they're not playing defense behind you. I said, this isn't fair to you anymore. This just isn't the defense's day. And that's okay. Let's give your arm a break. Mm-hmm. Let's sit you on the bench. Let's give your arm a break. And errors galore. I think we committed 7 errors, 3 of whom were from our boy Seth Timmons, who, 1 error, tough. 2 errors, now he's compounding. That 3rd error was a beautiful throw from Lincoln from right field. Mm-hmm. We had the guy dead at right at third base, and Seth, because he mentally was having a tough time in the field, didn't knock the ball down. The ball got past him, and the run scored.
Sure.
And that gets really tough. The cool thing is how we bounce back from that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go to my 4th and 3rd Champs Adjust list real quick. Tyrus Cohen is my number 4.
Tyrus.
He just defensively, he can play any position. And we'll tell you what he did in a few minutes about what he did at the plate. But he's constantly getting on base. He actually got picked off at one point and then was back on the base paths like two batters later as our courtesy runner and scored. So way to turn the page, Tyrus. Awesome job. Steven Medrano came on the mound, 77% strike rate. That's the best he's done all season. It was the best he pitched all year. He pitched 3 strong, gave up 1 run.
Yeah, very strong.
Struck out 4, walked 1, and put us in a position to win. All in all, we ultimately came back and forced extra innings.
Yeah, so we scored 9.
No, we scored 10.
Scored 10.
We scored 10 runs across 2 innings. And partially, and a big part of it is for one of our Champions Adjust Player of the Week finalists, Seth Timmons. Committed 3 errors in the field. We pulled him out of the field because at that point, hey, catch your breath. We'll get you back out there if we can. But catch your breath. Let's focus on hitting. By the time the second at-bat came with 1 out and the bases loaded in the 3rd inning, he had committed 3 errors and had struck out looking on a 0-2 count with runners in 2nd and 3rd. He comes up and he gets a base clearing double.
Base clearing double.
To
the wall on a laser beam.
To left field. That the guy tried to come up on. He tried to dive to catch it.
No, that was the second one.
Well, that was the second.
The first one was.
No, the second one went into the gap.
The first one was a line drive right over the second baseman's head that went all the way to the wall.
You're right. I thought that was the second one.
That was the first one.
Okay.
And Seth's moving his body, got all the way to second, easy base clearing double.
Probably could have stretched to 3rd, and I thought about stretching to 3rd, but as a coach, when you're down by a lot.
Yeah, we were still down about 6 at that point.
There's no point to push it. Let's get him to score, and he did score.
And then he comes up again next inning, similar situation, right?
We're down at this point. We're down 4. Seth's up with 2 outs.
Yep.
And similar situation, and he hits another base clearing double, and now he's a tying run at 2nd. At which point, this coach, which I do not condone at all, starts purposely killing clock.
Yeah.
Not only did he make a pitching change, but he's also having his guys step off to wait 30 seconds between pitches just to kill clock. And we got our boy Tyrus up with Seth Timmons, who, again, has turned his entire day around. He's got 6 RBIs now, and he's a tying run. And they're changing pitchers. I told Seth, I was like, hey, you got your wheels on you? Yeah. I said, we're going to go thumb to ear. We're gonna run. We're just gonna run. That ball gets through the infield, I'm sending you. You're gonna score a run. You understand me? Because I told him, I was like, we're gonna lose you getting thrown out, or we're gonna tie the game by you being safe. If the ball gets out of the infield, I'm sending you. So be ready. And realistic as a coach, I'm gauging the situation. If I can, I'll send him. But I want him to have that mentality of, hey, I got to get it out there. And then Tyrus puts one up the middle. And
as Tyrus is hitting, they announce that
time has expired.
So it's either Tyrus gets a hit or
to tie it,
the game is over.
And Tyrus gets a hit.
Yeah, he hits a single through the hole between 2nd and 1st.
The right fielder starts bobbling it, and as I see him bobbling it, because Seth had come out the gate so strong, I was able to send him, and there wasn't a throw.
Yeah, there wasn't a throw.
And to
Tyrus's credit, he got in a pickle to make sure the run did score.
Yes. And he ended up getting
and then he got out, but the game is tied 10-10. We go into extras.
And now we're tied and going to extras. We were down 9-0, and it is now tied 10-10 going into extras. And then Steven Medrano, what a freaking dude. Bases loaded, 1 out. We are in the situation because of Seth Timmons and a lot of good timely hitting, good timely base running from Seth, Tyrus, and a lot of other players. But Steven Medrano, man, came in there, was an absolute dude who's beating himself up because he actually, on an 1-2 count, he put a fastball low and away, and this kid somehow just got a piece of it, turned on it, and turned over our third baseman head. And 2 runs scored.
They scored 2, then we got 2 outs.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then we got 2 outs. So now we're down 2, and then a walk
scores him.
And now again, my winning run is Seth Timmons, who's on 3rd. Or is he tying? No, he's the tying run is on 3rd. And we got Jack Talent, who squares a ball up the middle, but didn't get enough elevation on it. They squeeze the middle, just to keep anything from going up the middle, and the shortstop just made a play on him. Got a double play, game over. Cannot say enough about these kids. I haven't named my player of the weekend yet. I'm getting there.
Right. But that's exactly when Link went right over to Jack right after that and said, hey, one play does not define you, does not define your weekend. Keep your head up. You did great.
Yes.
And that's what we try to embody.
Champions adjust.
And when the players do it themselves, we don't even have to say it. That I think is special. And so that was a really cool moment for me as someone who cares about that stuff way more than baseball itself.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing game.
So we'll finish up the thoughts on the game after I name our Champions Adjust player of the week.
Sure. Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Drum roll.
Oh, hold on. Start over. Say drum roll again.
And drum roll. Sloan White, enough on this podcast. Not enough, Sloan.
Big Sloany Bear.
Sloany Bear. This kid, 13 years old, athletic beast, took a year off from baseball. Started the season as, hey, he might be able to catch, he might be able to pitch, he might be able to hit. He's a developmental player. To, hey, you got a good arm. He's so freaking coachable. It's unreal how coachable this kid is. He's a marvelous kid. And he's been hurt for about a month.
Yeah.
He's just been hurt. He's got hip issues. Which happens when you're 13 years old and you're putting a lot of pressure on your hips. And
he also works very hard in the weight room.
Yes.
He's trying to be catching, so he does it every day. And so, things tend to happen, right? And so you learn how to take care of yourself a little bit better, what stretches work for you. But anyways, regardless of that.
So he texted me on Thursday saying, hey, coach, went to physical therapy today. I've never felt better. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. All right. So I screenshot that. I sent it to Aaron. I sent it to Coach Lovell. I'm like, hey, we got to do. We're ready to go. So he does. He catches game 2.
Griff caught game 1, and Sloan
was an absolute beast because apparently there was a lot of balls in the dirt.
Yeah.
And Sloan was just blocking a lot.
When I referred to that inning where we lost in game 2 on Saturday, where Lincoln just had a tough day, which happens to every single player. Tough inning.
Yeah.
Which happens to every single pitcher who's ever pitched ever. So it's not anything to be worried about. He just threw a lot of balls in the dirt, and Sloan was just, his effort was at a maximum.
Yes.
And it was beautiful to see. And so I sent a voice note to Bodzin about it after the game just to make sure that he knew, because you can't really see that over Game Changer. And then he caught 2 more games.
Yeah, so thanks for ruining it.
Yeah, you bet.
So then I texted him Sunday morning, 9:47. How are you feeling today? Great. Good to catch Griffin in game 1. You won't have to block as much as last night. He said, yes, sir, I can catch as much as needed. So I sent him the logo of Champions Adjust. Because my God, if that isn't the embodiment of Champions Adjust, I don't know what is. Kid's been hurt. He caught his first game. We did not know on Saturday if he was going to be able to catch. We had him in the lineup like, hey, if he can catch, we'll have him catch, but we don't want to push him. He caught well. Asked him, and he caught the second game, or the first game Sunday, phenomenally. And then he came back again, game 2, and I don't think anything got past him. He started getting tired. His hips started hurting a little bit. So we pinch ran for him. We courtesy ran for him so he can get off his legs a little bit. Mm-hmm. The kid was an absolute beast. And Sloany Bear, if you're listening, and you better be, because I told you need to start listening to us. Can't thank you enough for your grit and your mentality and your hard work. And you're just a good teammate, dude. And congratulations on being our inaugural Champions Adjust player of the week. Proud of you. Going back to the game though, man, I after the game, I was just so proud of these kids. I didn't fall asleep till like 1 o'clock. I was still so excited and so proud of these kids. I was like pacing around the house, like Lulu, telling me Lulu, you would have been so proud if you saw these kids down 9-0, down 10-4, tied a game 10-10. Shove it down their throats, effing do it. Let's this team. It's a 13U AAA team that we played all season at 14 AAA. Mm-hmm. And they ended the season 500.
Great.
On the dot, against 14 AAA. That's not an easy thing to do. It's just not. It's, they're stretching their arms out. They're playing to a competition level they've never played against before, that most kids their ages are not playing against.
Right.
On Saturdays, they're swinging high school bats just to get ready for high school more.
Drop 3,
BB core. And it's just... I'm so impressed with the way this team has come together because as I told them at the beginning or after the game, what I told them was, hey, you're not going to win them all, and you're not going to lose them all. But when you win them, leave no doubt. And when you lose, make them beat you in extra innings. Make it tough for them, right? And that's exactly what this team has done. They went 2-2 with 2 good wins and 2 really close losses.
Both very tough losses.
Just like last week or 2 weeks ago. We went 1-2 with 1 good win and 2 really close losses.
Right.
And it's really fun to watch this development. And parents, if you're listening, you should be so proud of your kids. I was talking to a couple different coaches yesterday who were just shocked that we were 13, thinking, "Oh my God, they're years ahead, or they're way ahead of the rest of the 13-year-olds." Is what I'm being told by other coaches. And I take a lot of pride in our coaching skills and like what we're trying to do for these kids. But when you see it on the field and you hear it from other coaches who are like, "Man, they're 13, they're already playing this well." Yeah. That's just, we're getting ready for high school. The wins and losses don't matter to us. Obviously we want to win more than we want to lose, but losses aren't a bad thing. And we certainly don't want to go 50-0. That's not teaching anybody anything.
No.
You look at OU softball who lost today to UCLA because, they lost 2 games all year. They were down early and they didn't know how to rebound. Now they're up like 15 in the second game.
They're still going to win the World
still
Series.
Good, but you want your team to be battle tested as we go into our 2 World Series.
You want to face challenges and adversity, right?
Yeah. So again, my champions adjust list is my honorable mention is JP Malone, number 5, Lincoln leadership, number 4, Tyrus for that game tying hit, defensive dude, just good leader. Steven Medrano came in down 9, 1 earned run and kept us in the game, which was just phenomenal with the 77% strike rate. Seth Timmons, tough day in the field, still went 2 for 3 with 6 RBIs and 2 runs scored. And then Sloan White, who was injured and was an absolute G behind the plate and at the plate. He was, he was just fine at the plate too.
Good productive at bats, good sack fly when we needed it.
Yeah.
So
all in all, great weekend, boys. We're really proud of this gold team. Really excited to see what we do in the World Series, which when we film again, we'll be in the middle of our first World Series.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what I got. I was really excited to film today just to talk about this gold team and how much fun it is to be around them and to watch them develop and see what they've done. And I'm proud of all of them. And champions adjust.
So we'll leave you with this as a culmination of everything that Coach Bodzin said and that we saw our players actively do this weekend. It's that event plus response equals your outcome, right? The boys had an event. That event is then uncontrollable. You cannot change the past. You cannot alter the past. You cannot change what has already happened. So we are already down 9-0. The adversity already struck. The challenge was already in our hands. And our response is the only thing we control. Do we continue to fight? Do we continue to show up? Yes, we do. Do we believe we can get it done because we have an optimistic mindset? We are in control of our response because then that gives us a better chance at having a better outcome that we want, but we're still only focused on the process of doing the best that we can. And that's what we talk about. That's what our boys displayed on their own this weekend at the games, and it was beautiful to watch. So thank you for listening. We appreciate you coming back every week.
Thank you.
And if you need anything from Coach Bodzin and I, coaching, mindset tips,
you just want to talk,
or you just want to talk, you want to get some merch, you want to hop on the pod, you have a guest that you think would be great, any youth baseball tips or tips about youth sports, insight from the parents, anything. We're just trying to make this the best that we can, which resonates with the most amount of people, whether you're a parent, a coach, or a player, because we care about youth sports and we want to make it the best it can possibly be for everyone that wants to be involved.
Yes.
So thanks for listening.
Love you all.
Love you all. And always remember that
champions adjust.